Hello, everyone. Good evening once again, and welcome to the Dr. Love Show on Shine TV. My name is Na Ashoko Ajay, proudly sponsored by Fredco Constructions Limited, Vince Makeover, and Apostle Felix Henry Doe of the Abundance Grace Apostolic Church. Today is a snappy one, but I tell you, it is a very deep one. So, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Now you meet my guest, the famous Dr. Pastor Patrick, my co-lab doctor. Today we want to ask whether it is important to check our genotypes before getting married.
Wow.
Simple but tough.
Simple but tough, deep, and very, very important. And I think this show is really going out for the young ones, those who are so much in love with each other, those who are allowing love to cloud their judgment, and those who are refusing to face reality and again would want to, in the name of love, overlook certain critical and important parts of life in the society. So let me start on this note. Is it important that we check our genotype before marriage? It is a straightforward answer. A big yes. It's a huge yes. And by the grace of God, I have a little background in biochemistry, so I know the importance of this genotype and all of this. So you see, naturally, God has made us in such a way that everybody has a unique DNA sequencing. And when I talk about DNA sequencing, it just has to do with the smallest unit of who you are. Okay, I wouldn't want to go deep into it, but everybody's DNA sequencing is different. And it is such that we always transfer it to those we give birth to or to our offsprings. So scientifically, it has been discovered that every human being has one of four different types of genotypes. Okay, so you could either be AS, you could either be SS, you could either be AA, and then there is a fourth one that has been discovered recently, that is CC. And out of this CC, you have CS and breakdowns. It's actually a complicated thing, okay? But the reason why medically we always advise couples to check their DNA or their genotype before they get married is whatever you have in you as a man or as a woman, you are likely to transfer it to your offspring. Okay, so if a young man and a young woman meet on the street, they fall in love with each other, it is so necessary they check their genotype, because if they don't check to see whether they are compatible or not, and when I talk about compatibility, they have to check to find out if after they have given birth, whichever offspring or whichever child they would give birth, because naturally your child takes half of your DNA and then takes half too from the other parent to get his or her own set of DNA. So once you give birth or once you deliver a baby, the baby has half of the mother's DNA and half of the father's DNA. And these DNAs are such that if your genotype has A, or if your genotype is AS, and then you marry someone who is also AS, there's something we call permutation. When you are transferring, as a man, when you are transferring your sperms to that of the woman, it is likely you are going to give either A or S. And if the woman is also giving off to add up to what the man has given to her, she's also going to either give A or S or one of her genotypes. So one will come from here and one will come from here. That is how God has arranged it. So you would always give a half of it. The woman would also give a half of it, and half will come together to form one. So if you don't check to see if the ones that you have, if it combines with the other ones the other woman or the other person has, would not produce an offspring who would end up as an SS type, and you allow love to cloud your judgment and your thinking and you get into it, please, you're going to trouble, you're going to put an innocent child's life in a very dire
And
position.
you, the parents, is not going to even have peace.
You are not even going to have peace as children. Because look, I know a couple of friends who are SS, and there were times I know this lady friend of mine who was also SS, and it got to a point in her life I had to be visiting her consistently for 6 months. Every evening I had to go there, console her, okay, encourage her because she was going through so much pain simply because the mom and dad didn't check their genotypes. So the woman gave S, the man too gave S, and the child became SS. And see, scientifically it's been proven that most of these kids don't grow past a certain age. Latest by 15, 20, or before 15, 20, most of them end up dying. But if you are fortunate enough to cross that gap or to cross that limit, just understand that you are going to compound your pain. You have to be in and out of the hospital almost every day simply because the least thing can trigger an attack. Because one, you're going to have a weak immune system, and because your immune system is going to be weak, the slightest infection you have is going to get aggravated. The pain is going to get intense. You're going to have pains all over your body. Well, I wouldn't want to go into the symptoms, but being an SS person is not a nice thing at all. So please, parents out there, don't say I'm in love with him, I'm in love with her, and close your eyes on this important thing, your genotype. Please go and test it. And I would advise that right from the inception of the relationship, if you can test it before you push yourself to fall in love with each other, please.
I think this should be made loud because from the beginning of the relationship, most of us are usually focused on the love and everything that is entering to make it a joyful one, and we forget that. So normally it gets to the counseling stage before you are asked to go and check, and there lies the problem. Sometimes you might have finished with your wedding preparations and it will be so hard.
Difficult.
So why don't we think about it in the first stage? What is wrong there?
I think just as you said, education has to be very intensive because I don't know where we are going to start from, maybe from our churches, from our youth groups, from seminars, whatever the society needs to do to start sensitizing and educating our youth. Immediately you meet someone and you realize that you could date, and normally you see the signs. Look, you meet each other, you become so much all over, you get so much all over the person, you can't sleep, you want to hear the person's voice the next minute, you want to visit the person. All these are signs that you are likely to fall in love with the person. So immediately you start seeing those signs coming. Just take a step back. Go to the hospital. Check your genotype. If you are AA, that one there you are safe to go. But should you see S of any form, either CS, S, and in fact, for the SS, if you find yourself to be SS, that one, you can even afford it or you can even manage it if you meet someone who is AA. Okay, so an SS can marry an AA. Just that
I think I have a chart here. AA can marry AA.
Okay.
AA can marry SS. And AA can marry AS. Then AA can marry AC.
Good.
AA can also marry CC. But AS, no.
No, AS is a no.
ASSS, no.
No.
SSSS.
Once there is S in any of the couple's genotype, we advise you don't get married because once there is an S there is a possibility you could transfer that S to your child. So like you said, I mean with education, we could just go and then teach them on the dangers and then the combination. So just as you have rightly stated, we can manage with AAAS, just that I understand that your children are going to be carriers of the sickle cell trait. Okay, so going forward, you may just have to caution them that whilst they grow up, in their decision to choose a partner, they should watch out because they are already carriers. Okay, so you just have to give them that caution.
Because if it's not done like that, it will be as if we are leaving the careers for who to marry.
Exactly. So it's not bad to be a career. Yes, it's not bad to be a career, but it just an opportunity for you to be cautious. Because if you're a career, it means that there is a possibility that he could transfer it to an innocent child. Again, let's underline, let's just pay attention to this. An innocent child. Someone who, of no fault of his or hers, would come to this world or be going through pain. Look, if you interact with people who are SS, the kinds of pain they go through, the financial burden that comes with it to the parents. Because trust me, the little or the least attack you get on your immune system, you're going to break down. And for such people, we always pray that they don't get malaria, because anytime they contract malaria, it becomes very, very deadly for them, because their blood cells are such that it can't stand or fight against the malaria parasite in any way. It can't. So once they get it, it becomes a life and death matter. If they are not rushed to the hospital, they will be gone too soon. So we have to really intensify the education. We have to add it to our curriculum in the churches, even if pastors will take time to preach about it, especially for the youth, to know that it is not just about your feelings. It is not just about your emotions. Please, let us not be guided by our feelings. Let us use our head.
Talking about the head, I don't think the beginning of the relationship, this is going to work. So why don't we do it like this? You as an individual, you go to the hospital when you feel you have something small, the checkup is not so much. You check and then you keep it for yourself.
Exactly.
Someone also checks, keep it for themselves. So when you meet, it's going to be only a question. What's your genotype? This is mine. If it matches, fine. That than to enter the relationship, then we'll say, okay, because of the relationship, let's go and check. Maybe this one doesn't want to go, the other one doesn't want to go. So if you've checked for yourself, you already know. In that time, it will just be a question to avoid waiting till the last minute, because I'm sure that is where the stubbornness comes from. The last minute that you've done all the arrangements, sent out invitations, and what are you going to tell them? How are you going to explain? But even with that, we are talking about the future, that you are going to spend a lot of money and suffer, and an innocent child is coming to suffer. So can't you just do this sacrifice? But it's really hard and difficult. So my advice is that we should do it from the beginning. Do it for yourself. I do it for myself. We meet and we think this is going somewhere. We ask ourselves so that it will not be like, maybe tomorrow go and check yours, let me go and check mine. Maybe by then you do not want to go.
And I think our parents too need to come in. So in the bringing up of the kids, let's also tell them, let's encourage them to find out these things. Even if they don't go to the hospital themselves to do that checkup, go with them. Help them to find out. And then,
or they can do that too at every childbirth.
Exactly, yes. And the test decides that even when you are born today, you can have it checked today. Okay, so a 1-year-old baby can have it checked. Or you can, as a parent, you can have it checked for your 1-year-old baby. So you check it right at the birth, and then you document it. Okay, so this my child is AS. And then while the child is growing up, you put it in his or her mind that, look, you are AS. So in your quest to find love, please, make sure that you don't find love with someone who is also AS. Because if you do, these are going to be the consequences. Let us also educate our own children and let them understand the importance of these things. Because again, it's not a pleasant sight to behold. The pain these SS people have to go through.
And you, the children too, when you are giving the pieces of advice, please take them. Don't let love blind you so much. I know sometimes it's so hard when you are all into it, but for the sake of the safety of your future, you have to.
And of course, because this is a Christian program, you know, I've as a pastor, I've had to talk to people, and I've read articles where people give testimonies on about the fact that they were AS, they were SS, and they trusted and believed God, and God healed them. That was their faith. Yes, I've read testimonies, several ones, and that's okay. It's possible, okay. But I always say that, look, your faith level may be different from somebody's faith level. And if you can build your faith level to that point where you can have so much belief in God that even when you have, or even if you give birth to an SS, God can heal the child, fine. But my brother, if your faith is not up to that level, don't say because it has happened to somebody, you by all means it would also happen to you, please. Please, miracles are possible. They are real. But it is faith that attracts miracles. If you have not built your faith to a certain level to attract that miracle from God, please don't jeopardize the life of an innocent child somewhere. Walk within the confines of your faith and understand that if I haven't built myself to this level, let me keep myself at this level. Let me be cautious. Let me take the precautions so that at the end of the day, I wouldn't just think about myself, but I'll think about someone out there who is so innocent, who will be coming to this world because of the pleasure I want to experience or I want to have. And I believe when we do this, we would reduce drastically the number of SS young girls and guys out there who are going through so much pain.
Because it's really hard, and you could see from some of the parents' actions that they even wish the children are dead and gone.
Yes.
But there's nothing they can do about that.
You can't take a knife and kill the child too. You can't. So you see, if you had taken this step earlier, you wouldn't have found yourself in this position where you wish your child dies.
We normally think about what people would say and what people would do, all about people, and leave ourselves behind. And I think it's high time we consider ourselves.
Exactly.
What am I going to face after this?
Exactly.
What is going to happen? Who are those people? What are they even going to help you with? At the end of the day, some of them may be the ones to criticize you. If you just a child, you cannot take care of the child, this blah 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 blah. So I think it's high time we concentrate on ourselves, feel and think about what is good for us, especially in the nearest future, not for today, but for the future. Because I have seen one or two, and I feel it is so hard to be a career.
So now I would love it if you go through the groupings again, and those that are red flags, should you do the test on yourself and then see or find yourself to be a career?
Okay, so AA can marry another AA.
Good, that's a perfect combination. There's no problem. You're not going to jeopardize anybody. You're not going to put any child through anything. So the two of you are good to go.
I think the AA goes with everyone.
Yes.
They can go with AS, SS, and AC and CC.
Yes, because for them, they don't have the traits at all. Okay. If they only marry, the only question is that if they marry someone who is a carrier, they could give birth to another carrier. Okay, so for the AA, they can go out with anybody and everybody at all. So they are good to go. They can balance up with anybody at all.
Then we have the ones that are not advisable, AS to AS.
AS to AS, it means that you can have SS because there is S here, there is S here, so they could come together and then you have SS. The same way, AS could also give birth to AA.
Okay.
And then they could also give birth to AS. And then they could also give birth to SS. So the probability is, mathematically, you could calculate it that if somebody is AS and somebody is AS and they want to give birth to 4 children, they could have one AA.
Does it follow in the pattern that maybe the first one will be AA?
And that is what
I think people get
it doesn't follow any pattern. It doesn't mean that automatically your first child will be AA. Neither does it mean that automatically your first child will be S. It could happen anywhere. You could even have your first child being SS. Okay. So it's a probability. It's not certain. Okay, so we need to really exercise caution over there. What's the next combination?
AS and SS.
That one is a no.
Deadly disease. SS and SS.
For that one, it's dead on arrival.
AC and AC.
AC, that's fine. AC and AC is fine.
And AC and CC.
AC and CC, it's also some way, somehow. They just have to be careful.
CC and CC. It's a no.
They also need to exercise some caution. SC
and SC. Who are the CCs?
See, it was a new genotype they discovered. You know, science evolves. Okay, I wouldn't even be surprised if in the next 10 years they discover another form of genotype. Okay, so researchers that have gone on over the years. The first ones that were discovered were the AA and then the combination of the A and then the S. But as time went on, they realized that there was another gene that had a C-like shape. So those people fitted into the C group. So it was a new discovery they made over years after extensive research. Okay. So that it's not as traditional as the AS and then the SS we have known all these years.
I see. Yes. This is a beautiful one, and I hope you have enjoyed it. We've digested it, haven't we? God bless you so much, Pastor Dr. Patrick Ochrilati, for taking time to speak with us. I am your host, Na Ashoko Ajay, and this is the Dr. Love Show. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.